Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of your daily price action updates. I am your host, Jitsuko Toshiro. Before we dive in, I just want to give you guys a reminder that I am doing a $100 USDT giveaway. All you have to do is click on this link in my profile, click that subscribe button on my YouTube channel, and you automatically enter a chance to win. So let's go ahead and dive into the charts, which is why we're all here right now. As you can see here, let's start off with Bitcoin. So on the daily time frame, nothing much has really changed. Let me point out a few things. So we are range bound between pretty much 17K and 16.1K. And we haven't really moved out of that. Now you can see that we did initiate a sell-off here around like 2 weeks ago. We bounced up, bounced off the support, made a higher low, and now we're attempting to break out. One of the things that I can point out for the bulls is there is a positive note in the sense that we do have consolidation under this resistance. That is a bullish sign for bulls. If we keep consolidating under here in a tighter range, we'll eventually attempt to break out. Now, another thing that I would like to point out is we do have a potential, so be careful for an M pattern, and M patterns tend to be bearish. So if we fail to actually break above the $17,000 range, then I do expect us to retest these lows. And unfortunately, given the bearish sentiment that we're in, I don't think that those lows will hold. So this is where we are on the Bitcoin chart. Let's see if we can find anything on the 4-hour that'll give us any hints as to where we're going. So now as you can see here, I have the RSI updated here. We are a little bit on the higher end of it, which isn't really a good sign. But as you can see here, we can see bullish price action, right? We see higher lows. We see a nice little trend line to the highs. And we might have an attempt to break out. Now, how high we'll go, that is a question. As for now, I would, like I said before in many videos before, I would sit on my hands. I would not trade this. I would wait on Bitcoin to make a move. Let's go ahead and look at Ethereum next. And as you can see with Ethereum, it's kind of the same story, except we are broken out of this diagonal resistance and we're making our way up to this 1350 mark. Now, one thing I'd like to point out though is people are underestimating this resistance that we have here, which was previously worked as support for our last move up. But the more we chop in there, the more weak it becomes. So we just have to wait in here and see if that we can consolidate again like we did in this previous week. And if we do, then I do expect us to move higher to this 1350 level. And if we do break that, then I expect us to get to this $1,500 level. Now, like I've mentioned this in previous videos, if we see a breakdown on Bitcoin, this is definitely going to trap a lot of longs and this will end up coming lower. Why do you ask that? Well, Ethereum unfortunately has pretty much all alts follow what Bitcoin does. So if Bitcoin tends to not break to the upside, then Ethereum unfortunately will fall. So that is something that you have to keep in mind, that if we do try to break out to this upside, that it might not occur just because Bitcoin's headed lower. Let's go ahead and take a look at the active trade I'm in. Remember, my liquidation point is the $268 mark. Let me go ahead and mark that for you guys. I know a couple people are watching this. They do want to see me get liquidated, unfortunately, and I think it's all, giggles at the end of the day. It's some gamble money. The reason why I was in this trade and I was in such a bad position is because I shorted the news, and I mentioned that in previous videos that if I short the news, then I'll get newspapers, and that's exactly what I believe will happen. So this white line is my liquidation target. There is a good scenario here going on for the bears. Let me go into the intra chart. So the intraday chart. So as you can see on the 4-hour, we have this bearish divergence, and I'll go ahead and go over these in another video, but a bearish divergence tends to mean that the price action is moving higher, but there are no buyers to support this price action, which means that it will follow through with basically a breakdown in price. And so I do expect this to move down. Unfortunately, with these bearish divergences, sometimes they can fake you out. they can end up going higher and then coming down. I just hope I don't get caught in a wick. Now let's zoom out on the BNB chart. There's one thing I want to show you guys. You can see here we are in this range. We have strong resistance at this $260 mark, and it's going to take a lot for it to break above it. Now we pivoted low. We're retesting this previous support as resistance, and this might be the final test to bring us lower. I don't believe the market is ready to move higher. I think too many people are bullish on all assets right now, and they are not expecting another downturn, hence why I think we're going to go down. If we do break down, we have two main targets. Number one is going to be this $135 mark. Take a look here. We have some price consolidation here, and I think that we will actually make it and bounce off this level before we head lower. So that is a target that you'd want to keep in mind. So if we break down, we might bounce a little bit in here, head down towards that 135 level. If we break down even more, our next target is that 45. So keep that in mind, that we do have a bearish macro pattern, which is a bearish triangle, and then a descending triangle, and then we have these targets. So one at the 135 and the one at the 45. Now let's take a look at one more alt, which is Solana. Solana is one that I'm actively trading. I added these hammers to let you know where I think this is going. Now, as you can see here on the daily chart, we are getting lower highs. We're closing lower on Solana, but you can argue that this is a bullish, a bull flag. Now let me show you guys what a bull flag looks like. You take the base of the move up, and you take the bottom and the top, and you draw a little line. It looks like a flag. Now this does look like a flag. The probability of it breaking to the upside is higher than it breaking to the downside. So keep that in mind if you are in a short here, which I am, that this does have actually more likelihood of breaking to the upside. Now let me play devil's advocate though on that analysis, and let me show you guys something. So we have resistance up here at this $14.50 mark, $14.50 mark. We do have some resistance here. So as you can see here, this resistance is doing its job. Unfortunately though, if we get more consolidation in this range, we might see a move to the upside. So keep that in mind. If you want to enter a short, I think a good area is this resistance. It's a logical area to short. Solana does have a ways to go. So let's look at the price target for Solana. If we zoom out on Solana, you can see that the target is around the $4 mark. Let me get an older chart here. This is my master grand chart. You know, you have that head and shoulders. Now, the target would be around this $4 mark. And then our next stop, someone pointed out in a previous video, would be this $1 mark. So Solana does have a lot of potential for downside. This is a pretty solid place to enter a short. But let me also play devil's advocate. We are way oversold. And so we might actually get that relief rally that everyone's wanting. So we are at crossroads with most alts and most assets right now. Unfortunately, it's very hard to tell which way we're going. Now, the question is, how will I know? How do I set my trades up? So let's take a look at Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is king. So if Bitcoin breaks above this $17,000 mark, I expect us to go to this 18.5 level. And I expect the rest of the alts to follow. If Bitcoin cannot break above this level, I kid you not, the alts will bleed more. So keep your eyes on Bitcoin if you want to know where to trade. And then also keep your eyes on the DXY. So DXY is actually making a bullish pattern on the weekly. So let's go ahead and take a look at the DXY. We have this falling wedge pattern, and this is what you call a bottoming candle. So what does a bottoming candle indicate? So you basically came off a downtrend, as you can see here, and then you can see a wick above. However, the wick couldn't really close bullish. But we have this little hammer. It's called an inverted hammer. This is a bullish price action structure. The weekly did close like this. And So that's what we have on the DXY. Why is my attention on the DXY? Well, it tells me and gives me hints as to where Bitcoin is going. It also gives me a hint on where the alts are going. So if you keep your eyes on the DXY, you might know and get some hints on where it's going to go. Now, unfortunately, on the previous day, we did have a huge sell-off. The thing with the DXY, it's very hard to chart because the weekends it's off and Bitcoin is still moving. So we might actually get some follow through and head down lower and then head up. But, this is my idea of where the DXY is going. It's going to chop all the way up, kind of like how it chopped all the way up here. So just keep your eyes on DXY. Just know that it did make a bottoming formation on the daily. It's going to take a few days for it to play out, but it'll eventually reach that 109 area. It might meet some resistance in the 107 area. We don't really know yet. Let's see what happens after this sell-off, though. But that's pretty much it for my technical analysis today. And I might cover actually what's going to happen in the weekend. So keep your eyes on Bitcoin and keep your eyes on the DXY once it opens again. Unfortunately, we don't really know where everything is going to go until we get out of this little mini range. Now, keep your eyes on this mini range. This is the Bitcoin chart. If we go above, we might be bullish in the short term. If we go down below, I expect us to actually capitulate. So that's about it for today. Keep your eyes ready for whatever's going to happen. Other than that, trade safe, manage your risk responsibly, and take care. If you guys like the content, please like this video and retweet it if you find it helpful. And then also just follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. You guys have a good one.